All right. So we're going to start module 2 of the Anthropic Academy Meet Claude course. We're going to begin. All right. So we're in module 2, organizing your work and your knowledge. So the introduction to projects. The estimated time for this module is around 20 minutes. The learning objectives. By the end of this lesson, everyone will be able to explain what projects are and when to use them, create new projects with name, description, and visibility settings, add documents and files to the project's knowledge base, write effective project instructions to guide Claude's behavior, and share projects with teammates, for example, for Claude for work, team, and enterprise plan users. All right, so it looks like we're going to start off with a video.
What are projects, and how do they improve working with Claude? With projects, Claude users can create self-contained environments with their own chat histories, specific knowledge bases, and customized settings. We are going to provide an overview of projects, what they are used for, how to create them, and some advanced features. Let's talk about a few of the key features of projects. Project Knowledge enhances Claude's understanding by allowing you to upload relevant documents within each project. Every time you chat with Claude inside of a project, this knowledge is automatically considered alongside your prompt. This contextual information enables Claude to deliver more informed, project-specific responses that align with your team's goals, terminology, and background. Projects can handle much more content without running into limits. Projects with lots of information are automatically processed using retrieval augmented generation, enabling Claude to use more context to help you. When setting up a project, you can define project instructions for each project to further tailor Claude's responses. Like context, these are considered every time you chat with Claude. It's a good space to guide the way Claude responds. For example, you can ask Claude to use a more formal tone or answer questions from a specific perspective, targeting a specific industry. If you're on a Claude for Work plan, you can share projects with other members of your organization, enabling powerful collaboration and knowledge sharing capabilities. For example, a brand team can create a project with voice and tone guidelines that helps anyone at their company write like a marketer. Okay, let's get started by creating your first project in 3 simple steps. Click New Project and give it a name. Next, describe your project and what you are hoping to achieve. Like, I would like to make brand guidelines to write a series of case study blogs for my flower business. Click Create Project. To the right of the project title, you see a few menu items. You can star this project for quicker access, and edit project details, and archive or delete the project. Provide Claude with relevant instructions and information for the chats within the project. This will work alongside user preferences and the selected style. Choose visibility for your project. You can choose private for personal use or public for team collaboration. From here, provide project instructions and information for the chats within the project. This will work alongside the user preferences and the selected style. Click on Instructions to define how Claude should respond. Within this space, you can specify tone, expertise level, response style, and desired outcomes, or simply give more context on what you're trying to achieve with this project. For instance, when providing the brand guidelines, explain the thought process and highlight tone and brand application. Once done providing instructions, click Save Instructions. This will apply to every chat in the project. You'll find the Files menu on the right side of your project's main page. Anything you upload to this space will be used across all of your chats within this project. Click on the plus button to add content to the project. You can upload PDFs, documents, CSVs, text files, or connect to Google Drive. Now Claude can instantly reference this content in any conversation. Claude will process this information and use it as context in your chats within the project. For example, if you are working on creating new brand guidelines for a specific client, you can upload their existing branded materials and Claude will reference that file in its response. Note that context is not shared across disparate chats within a project unless the information is added into the project knowledge base. Sometimes your project knowledge will approach the context window limit. Claude will automatically enable RAG mode to expand your project's capacity. Once your project is set up, You can initiate chats with Claude within the project. You can learn more about best practices for chatting in Claude by reviewing one of our other videos. You can make chats public so teammates can view and build onto your work. There are 3 permission levels that control who can do what in your projects. Can view members can view project contents, access knowledge, and chat, but can't make changes. Think read-only access with discussion rights. Can edit members have full collaboration power. They can modify instructions, update knowledge, manage members, and actively contribute to the project. Project creators control everything, plus they decide who sees the project. They can share with specific people or make private projects visible to the entire organization. The right permissions keep your projects secure while enabling smooth collaboration, so pick the options that work best for your team. Here are some of Claude's collaboration features. Check out the Shared With Me tab to easily find projects that others have shared with you. You will receive email notifications when someone shares a project with you, and project creators can modify permissions or remove access as needed. Multiple members can contribute documents, create chats, and work together within the same project environment, making projects ideal for team collaboration. Sometimes you need to use content without adding it to your project's knowledge base. No problem. Simply upload it during the conversation and it stays separate from your project knowledge. It's a perfect way to share context or examples without cluttering the knowledge base. Here are some examples of projects you can create. You can create a new product for market, like managing the development process of a new product from ideation to launch, like an eco-friendly water bottle. Useful for keeping all product-related information in one place, using Claude for creative ideation, and tracking the evolution of the product design. Claude can streamline the content creation process by generating content ideas, providing writing assistance, and maintaining consistency across platforms. You can design and develop an educational course like Anthropic's AI Fluency coursework. In projects, you can organize course materials, use Claude to help explain complex concepts, and iteratively improve the course content. You can create a project to track, analyze, and plan personal finances for your personal financial goals and budget. Keeping all financial information in one secure place, Claude can analyze spending patterns and help with financial calculations and planning. Or you can plan and manage a home renovation, like updating a kitchen space. Centralize all project information, use Claude to help with the design idea and budget calculations, and keep track of all decisions and communications. These examples demonstrate the flexibility of what can be done with projects in Claude. Whether you're working on professional tasks, personal goals, or collaborative efforts, projects can help you organize information, generate ideas, and streamline your work process. Remember, you can customize each project to fit your specific needs and workflow. For more information on getting started with projects, check out our Help Center article.
Okay. All right. So the key takeaways: projects are self-contained workspaces with their own memory, chat history, knowledge bases, and customized instructions. Think of them as dedicated environments for specific work streams. Project knowledge enhances Claude's understanding by letting you upload relevant documents that Claude references across all chats within the project. No more re-uploading the same files each time. Project instruction guides Claude's behavior. You can specifically tone, expertise level, response style, and more. These instructions apply to every conversation within the project. I think I may have mispronounced this word, expertise level. Projects scale automatically. When your knowledge base approaches context limits, Claude seamlessly enables retrieval augmented generation, or RAG mode, to expand capacity by up to 10 times while maintaining responsive quality. For Claude for work users, project enable a collaboration. Share projects with teammates so everyone benefits from the same context, instructions, and accumulated knowledge. So, what are projects? Projects are ideal for storing knowledge Claude should reference, organize related chats around a specific topic or work area, and collaborating with team members who need access to the same shared context. When to use projects. Projects are particularly valuable when you're working on something ongoing, not just a one off question. Consider creating a project when you have a workflow with reference material you'll use repeatedly. For example, meeting notes, survey results, reports, historical data, etc. Consistent requirements for how Claude should respond. For example, always use formal language, always cite sources, always follow our template. And finally, team collaboration needs, where multiple people should work from the same foundation. So, creating your first project. Setting up a project takes a few minutes. Here's how to get started. Step 1. Set up your project. Hover over the left sidebar and click Projects, or navigate directly to Claude AI/projects. Click the plus New Project in the upper right corner. Give your project a descriptive name, for example, Q4 marketing campaign or product documentation. 4. Add a brief description of what you're working on. While Claude doesn't see this description directly, it helps you and your teammate understand the project's purpose. And 5. Choose your visibility settings. Keep it private or share with your organization. For Claude work, for Claude, and for work users. Step 2. Add project instructions. Project instructions tells Claude how to behave across all conversations in this project. Click on the instructions to open the instructions panel. So actually, let's see. Let me see if I can actually kind of, let me see if I can grab this. And we can just probably just walk through. We can find this ourselves. Projects, chat, customize. Okay. All right. So I have my Claude dialog box. So, all right. So add projects instructions. So actually, let's go back. And so hover over the left sidebar and click projects. All right. So we're going to click projects. Okay. Click new projects in the upper right corner. All right, so give your project a descriptive name. Sherm's Anthropic walk. Add a brief description of what you're working on. While Claude doesn't see this description directly, it helps you and our teammates understand the project's purpose. And of course. So we will be walking through the entire Anthropic material. Okay, we're gonna create this. Choose your visibility settings, keep it private or share with the organization. All right. All right, so step 2, add project instructions. Project instructions tells Claude how to behave across all conversations in this project. click on the instructions to open the instructions panel. So instructions, huh? So these are our files. All right, so instructions. Okay. Good project instructions typically include context about what you're working on. This project is for creating marketing content for our B2B. Okay. Looks like that's kind of extra sensitive apparently. So this project is for gaining a better understanding on how to effectively utilize process instructions. First, consider a blog structure that will entice this audience, and then okay. So save instructions. Okay. Tone and style preference. Use a professional, a conversational tone. Avoid jargon when possible. Hey, yo, what's up, Katie? Okay, so process instructions. First, consider a blog structure that will entice this audience, then write a draft. All right, so what we're working on is the project is to gain a better understanding on how to effectively utilize Claude. Process instructions. Uh, hmm. We want okay, I think that's cool. All right, so first consider that doesn't make sense. All right, so it says process instructions. Hmm. For right now, until we get a better understanding, I'm just going to copy what they have here. All right, so I plug structure that will entice the audience, and then write the draft. All right, so tone and style preference. All right, so that's pretty good. So use a professional, conversational. All right, and specific requirements. All right, so always include a call to action at the end of. All right, so actually, let's rewrite this instruction. I'm going to keep the blog. I'm going to keep all of that, but I'm going to rewrite this as if I'm running because moving forward, this is what I plan on doing. So we might as well get a head start on this. So this project is this project is the start of an empire. Start of building a strong community where we navigate the indices market with a focus on E-mini, S&P 500, and the Nasdaq. All right. First, consider a blog structure that will entice the audience, and then write the draft. Okay, S&P 500. All right, process instructions. First, consider a blog structure that will entice the audience, then write the draft. Tone and style. Use a professional but conversational tone. Avoid jargon when possible. And specific requirements. Always add a call to action. For example, recommending, supporting the channel by using promo codes. Inviting audience and new joiners to join the community on Discord, share the content across platforms, ask for engagement, and ways to and feedback with improvement in mind. Okay, cool. Nice. All right. Hey, what's up, K Trader? You said, oh yeah, that's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. Okay. All right, so we're going to save these instructions. All right, so once I've written my instructions, click save. Now this will apply to every chat in this project and work alongside any user preferences and styles that I've set. All right, cool. So I can also use project instructions to automate workflows. For example, when I upload a meeting transcript, create a structured summary using this template, think of instructions as programming Claude's behavior for this project. Step 3, build my knowledge base. My knowledge base, my project's knowledge base is where I upload documents that Claude should reference. I'll find the file menu on the right side of the project's main page. All right, so we're just gonna pull that window right back up. Okay. All right, so knowledge base. So we got projects, artifacts, chats, customization, search. So build your knowledge base. So my project's knowledge base is where I upload documents that Claude should reference. I'll find the file menu on the right side of my project's main page. So I guess I have to go back to my pages. You said the right side of it. Maybe this is what you said the right side of the page. So that's edit. I'm pretty sure this is probably what it's talking about. Add files. All right, so start a chat to keep the conversation organized and reuse project knowledge. Okay. All right, so yeah, and apparently just adding documents to that file. All right, so what should I upload? Reference documents, for example, brand guidelines, style guides, and templates. Background material, for example, research reports, meeting notes, requirement documentation. Examples of my work I want Claude to emulate, and technical documents or specifications. So here's a pro tip. Name your files descriptively. Claude uses file names to understand and retrieve the right information. So Q4 2024 brand guidelines.pdf is a more helpful name than document1.pdf. You're just giving your documents meaningful names, basically. All right, so how projects handles large knowledge bases. You might wonder what happens when you upload a lot of content. Projects automatically scale to handle large amounts through a process called retrieval augmented generation, or RAG for short. At a high level, this means that Claude can automatically find and use the most relevant parts of my uploaded documents when answering, without me needing to tell it which file to look at. When my project knowledge approaches the context window limit, Claude seamlessly enables RAG mode. Instead of loading all project contents into memory at once, Claude intelligently searches and retrieves only the most relevant information needed to answer my questions. This expands my project's capacity by up to 10 times while maintaining responsive quality. I'll see a visual indicator when my project is RAG enabled, but the experience should feel the same. But the experience should feel the same. I can still upload documents, chat with Claude, and get context-aware response. Working within my project. Once my project is set up, I can start chatting with Claude. Each conversation within the project automatically has access to my knowledge base and follows my project's instructions. Collaboration features. For users on Claude for work, such as team and enterprise plans, Projects become even more powerful through collaboration features. Permission levels. When sharing a project, I can choose from 3 permission levels. The first one is Can View. Members can see project content, access knowledge, and chat, but can't make changes. Think of this as a read only access with discussion rights. 2. Can Edit. Members have full collaboration power. They can modify instructions, update knowledge, manage other members, and actively contribute to the project. And 3. The owner. Project creators control everything, including who sees the project. They can share with specific people or make project visible to the entire organization. Sharing your project. To share a project, open your project you want to share. Click the Share Project button to the right of the project name. Add individual members using their name or email, or copy and paste a list of email addresses for bulk sharing. For example, in this case, the project will show up in their Shared with You section. Or share with everyone at your organization to make your project discoverable within the Teams tab. Team members will receive email notifications when share a project with them. Okay. Team members will receive email notifications when you share a project with them, and they can find share projects in their Shared with Me tab. All right, so I'm guessing I can add people to this. I guess we'll figure that one out later. Example projects to inspire me. Not sure where to start? Here are some common project types across different functions. Q4 Product Launch. Upload your product specs, competitive analysis, and messaging brainstorming notes. Claude will have this context top of mind for any inquiry or document draft. Reach support. Centralize your competitive review, user research data, and customer feedback. Claude can help you synthesize sources, draft reports, and maintain consistency across recommendations. Client Account Hub. Keep your client's brand guidelines, past deliverables, and communication history in one place. Set instructions so Claude matches their tone and references their specific context when creating proposals or reports. Event Planning Workspace. Upload venue contracts, speaker bios, and attendee data. Claude can help generate run-of-show documents, attendee communications, and post-event reports that stay consistent with your event's theme. Job Description Generator. Gather past job descriptions, team charters, and internal headcount request docs. Work with Claude to draft job descriptions that reflect your team's actual work and culture. Best practices for projects. To get the most out of projects, you should start focused, then expand. Begin with a specific use case rather than trying to create one project for everything. You can always add more content as you go. Keep your knowledge base current. Outdated documents can lead to outdated responses. Review and update your project's knowledge base periodically. Write clear instructions. Be specific about what you want. Vague instructions lead to inconsistent results. Name your documents descriptively. For example, Q4 2025 sales report, not just report. And group related files together. Claude uses file names and proximity to understand relationship between documents. Reference documents by name. When asking questions, you can mention specific documents to help Claude focus its search. Based on our Q3 report, what were the top customer concerns? Lesson reflection. Before moving on, this is what you should consider. What's ongoing work could benefit from having a dedicated project with persistent context? What documents should you expect you'll be re-uploading or re-explaining to Claude on a regular basis? If you're on a team, are there projects that would benefit from shared knowledge and instructions? So here's what's next. In the next lesson, we'll learn how to create mini apps with artifacts, actual outputs that Claude builds and can share right away. For more information about getting started with projects, we can visit the Anthropic Help Center. All right, so let's go to the next one. All right, so creating with artifacts. This module or this lesson is estimated to be 20 minutes. So here are the learning objectives. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to explain what artifacts are and when Claude creates them, share artifacts with colleagues and publish them publicly, and troubleshoot common artifact issues. So, what are artifacts? Artifacts are standalone, interactive outputs that Claude creates in a dedicated window alongside your conversation. Instead of getting a long block of code or text buried in chat, I can see the context rendered and ready to use. Whether that's a working website, an interactive chart, or a document I can immediately download. Claude automatically creates an artifact when content meets certain criteria. First, it's significant and self-contained, typically over 15 lines. Second, it's something you're likely to want to edit, iterate, or reuse. Third, it represents complex content and stands on its own without needing the surrounding conversation. And finally, it's content you'll want to reference or use later. Common artifact types. Claude can create different of artifacts. Different of artifact. That might be a. So Claude can create different of artifacts, each suited to different needs. So the documents. So including Markdown, plain text, Word docs, PDF, PowerPoint, and Excel. Great for anything text heavy that you'll want to export or continue editing, like meeting notes, reports, project plans, blog posts, or other written content. Code snippets. Working code in any programming language. For example, Python, JavaScript, C++, and more. We can view the code, copy it, or download it for use in our own projects. HTML pages. Complete web pages with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript in a single file. Perfect for landing pages, forms, interactive demos, or quick prototypes. SVG images. Scalable vector graphics or logos, icons, illustrations, and other visual elements. These renders directly in the artificial window so I can see exactly what I'm getting. Mermaid diagrams, flowcharts, secret diagrams, Gantt charts, org charts, and more. Describe the relationship you want to visualize, and Claude will create a diagram I can refine. And finally, React components, interactive UI elements with real functionality, calculators, dashboards, games, and data visualizations. These aren't just mock-ups. They include actual logic and respond to user input. So, creating your first artifact. Creating an artifact is as simple as having a conversation. Just describe what you want, and Claude will determine whether to present it as an artifact. For example, we may say, create a flowchart showing our customer onboarding process. No, you should know. Claude may now generate visual diagrams like flowcharts as HTML uses imaging or using Imagine. Claude may now generate visual diagrams like flowcharts as HTML using Imagine. What is imagine? Anyway, in addition to code-based artifacts. Build an interactive dashboard that lets me input monthly expenses and see a breakdown. Third, design a landing page for a productivity app with a hero section and features list. And finally, write a project brief template I can reuse for new initiatives. If Claude doesn't automatically create an artifact when I expect one, I can explicitly ask, create this as an artifact, or show me this in an artifact. When Claude generates an artifact, it appears in a dedicated window to the right of our conversation. From here, I can view different formats, such as toggling between a preview of how it looks and the underlying code. I can copy content, click the content icon to grab the content for use elsewhere. I can download files, save the artifact as a file to your computer, or view code. See exactly what Claude generated under the hood. Sharing and publishing artifacts. Once I've created something useful, I have several options for sharing it. Copy or download. For personal use or sharing via other channels, use this copy or download button in the lower right corner of the artifact window. All right, so before we go, let's see if we can go to the artifact window, kind of see what the heck they're talking about. So artifacts. So what would you build with artifacts? If you can dream it, you can build it. Take apps, games, templates, and tools from thought to reality. Hmm. Okay. Sharing and publishing artifacts. Once I've created something useful, I have several options for sharing it. Like, I think I've already downloaded this. Maybe I didn't. All right, so copy or download for personal use or sharing via other channels. I did read that one already. So share within your organization. Claude for work. Team and enterprise users can share artifacts internally with colleagues. The shared artifact stays within the organization and requires team authentication to access. Publish publicly. For free, Pro, and Max users, we can publish artifacts to make them accessible to anyone with the link when we publish. Only the selected version becomes public. The chat remains private. Anyone can view and interact with the artifact without a Claude account. Others can remix your artifact, opening it in their own Claude conversation to modify and build upon it. To publish, click the Share or Publish button in the upper right-hand corner of the artifact. You can unpublish at any time by returning to the artifact and removing public access. Note: when you publish an artifact, it is publicly accessible via its link. Anyone can view it, even without a Claude account. Published artifacts are not indexed by search engines, so they won't appear in Google searches. So let's get cooking. Let's pick an artifact. Productivity tools, apps, and websites. Great choice. To build the perfect productivity tool, let me ask a few questions. So what kind of productivity tool do you need? Notes and journal. Who is this for? Just for me. What features matter most to you? All right, so it says that I can either keep it private or I can create a public link. And if I choose to make it, this is the link that I copy and it becomes publicly available. Uh, like once I get a better understanding, this could be a better way to kind of journal and kind of talk about what I'm going through emotionally while in a trade, or what something's doing, or what's the market doing, or something like that. And we can probably just track that. All right, so tips for getting the most from artifacts. Be specific about what you want. Build a budget tracker is good, but build a monthly budget tracker where I can input expenses by category, see a pie chart breakdown, and get a warning when I'm over budget is way better. Describe the end user. Telling Claude who will use the artifact helps it make appropriate design choices. This flowchart is for new employees. Leads to different results than this flowchart is for the engineering team. Iterate incrementally. Ask Claude to add one feature or make one change at a time. This makes it easier to identify what's working and catch issues early. Request artifacts when needed. If you're asked for something substantial, and Claude responds in the chat instead of creating an artifact, just say, please create this as an artifact. So here's a lesson reflection. Before moving on, consider what's reoccurring work could benefit from having an interactive artifact that I can use. Just writing, I would say writing in the journal and documenting what the market's doing, what kind of effects it's having on me, and how I'm handling it. I think that would be a great. But we'll see. We'll see. Are there processes in our work that would be clearer as a flowchart or diagram? Or what prototype or tools will help me test an idea quickly? And those are really great things to think about. All right, so what's next? In the next lesson, we'll learn about skills, reusable instruction sets that teach Claude specialized workflows. Okay. All right, so working with skills. This lesson is estimated to be around 15 minutes. The learning objectives, by the end of this lesson, we'll be able to explain what skills are and how Claude uses them, identify Anthropic's built-in skills for document creation, and enable and manage skills in our setting. All right. So what are skills? Skills are folders of instructions, scripts, and resources that Claude loads dynamically to improve performance on specialized tasks. Think of them as expertise packages. They can teach Claude how to complete specific tasks in a repeatable way. We've already seen skills at work if we've used Claude to create Excel spreadsheets, PowerPoint presentation, Word documents, or PDFs. These file creation capabilities are powerful by skills running behind the scenes. But skills go far beyond document creation. Custom skills can codify entire repeatable workflows. A quarterly variance analysis methodology, a brand voice review process, or a compliance checklist. So Claude follows the same rigorous steps every time. Types of skills. There are two categories of skills we'll encounter. The first one is Anthropic skills. These skills are created and maintained by Anthropic. These include enhanced document creation capabilities for Excel, Word, PowerPoint, and PDF files. Anthropic skills are available to all paid users, and Claude invokes them automatically when relevant. We do not need to do anything special to use them, and there are custom skills. These skills are the ones that we or our organization creates for specialized workflows and domain specific tasks. For example, we might create a skill that applies to our company's brand guidelines, the presentation, structure, meeting notes, and a specific format, or execute our organization's data analysis workflows. Enabling skills. Skills are currently available as a feature preview for users on Pro, Max, Team, and Enterprise plans. To use skills, we'll need to have to use these plans, you will need to have code execution and file creation enabled, since skills require Claude's secure sandbox computed environment to function. So I guess as we move forward, I'm gonna have to probably upgrade to a paid plan. Here's how to enable skills. So we're going to navigate the settings and capabilities. Ensure that code execution and file creation is toggled on. We're going to scroll to the skills section and then toggle individual skills on or off as needed. For enterprise plans, organization owners must first enable both code execution and skills in admin setting before individual members can access them. For team plans, this feature preview is enabled by default at the organizational level. Once enabled, you'll see available skills listed in our settings, including Anthropic's built-in skills and any custom skills we've uploaded. Using skills in practice. The beauty of skills is that we typically do not need to think about them. Claude handles skills selections automatically based on our request. Here are some examples of prompts that would invoke skills. First, create an Excel spreadsheet tracking monthly expenses with formulas for totals. Second, turn this meeting note document into a PowerPoint presentation. Third, generate a PDF report summarizing this data. And finally, build a financial model in Excel with scenario analysis. When Claude uses a skill, we'll see it mentioned in Claude's chain of thought as it works. The output will be a downloadable file we can save on our computer or directly to Google Drive. So it looks like we have a video. All right. So file execution. Claude works with you on slides, spreadsheets, and contract red lines. All right, so let's watch this video. Okay. So this same capability means that Claude can work with your actual files within a contained environment. To create updated versions of your files, no. In chat, Claude creates a new version of the document rather than editing the original in place. That's a funny way. Okay. So to create updated versions of your files, documents rather than editing, or upload slides, spreadsheets, contracts, or any XLSX, PowerPoint, docs, or PDF files. And watch as Claude creates slides, perform analysis, and add suggested edits. When Claude is done, you can download these files or open them in Drive. Note: to use these capabilities, we'll need to give Claude access to external data sources. Simply toggle allow limited network access on when prompted. So this is what it's talking about. Allow limited network access. Claude can do with limited network access. What Claude can do with limited network access? So Claude can turn on analysis into spreadsheets, ideas into presentations, and research into reports. Security considerations. Because skills can include executable code, it's important to use them thoughtfully. First, only install custom skills from trusted sources. Second, Anthropic's built-in skills are tested and maintained by Anthropic. Third, custom skills we upload are private to our individual accounts. And finally, if we're installing a custom skill from an external source, review its content before use to understand what it does. And I think this one is very important. We need to make sure when we use Claude, especially with all the access that Claude has, that we're making sure that there is not any injectable code or instructions that Claude will see and try to interpret and try to execute. That can be malicious and harmful to what we're working on, to our systems, or to any information that we don't want Claude to even have access or even begin to manipulate. So that's very important. And I'm pretty sure as Claude becomes normalized, it's normal for some people, but not everybody is using Claude. When it becomes normalized, that's going to probably be a new attack vector for our adversaries. All right, so creating custom skills. While Anthropic's built-in skills cover common document creation tasks, the real power of skill comes from creating our own. Custom skills allows us to teach Claude our specific workflows, brand guidelines, and ways of working, so Claude can apply that knowledge automatically whenever it's relevant. The easiest way to create a custom skill is through conversations with Claude itself. We do not need to write code or manually create files. Claude handles the technical structure for us. Here's how to create a skill through conversations. First, start a new chat and tell Claude what you want to create. For example, I want to create a skill for writing quarterly business reviews. Or, I need a skill that applies our brand guidelines to presentations. Second, answer Claude's questions. Claude will interview us about our workflow, asking things like, what should this skill do? What makes good output for this type of work? Can you give an example of when you'd use this skill? Third, upload reference materials if we have it, such as templates, style guides, brand assets. For example, of work that we're proud of. For example, of work we're proud of, all help Claude. So I guess what this sentence is trying to say, for example, work that we're proud of to help Claude understand exactly what we're looking for. And finally, save your skill. When finished, Claude generates a file containing our properly structured skill. All we have to do is save it, and the skills will be ready for Claude to use. See our skills. Find the custom tab in the left sidebar. There, we can see all the skills that are available and even edit the skills we use manually or by chatting with Claude. Our custom skills will appear in our skills list alongside Anthropic's built-in skills. From that point forward, Claude will automatically invoke it whenever we work on relevant tasks. no manual triggering needed. We can improve our skills with iterations. Ask Claude to edit a skill, and it will update that file for us. So, skills versus projects. You might be wondering, if both skills and projects can be used to give more context to Claude, when should we use them? Think of it this way. Project stores knowledge while skills performs the task. And I think that's a very simple and straightforward way to explain the differences. Projects are knowledge hubs. They hold the reference material Claude needs to understand our work. Project specs, meeting notes, research documents. When we upload files to a project, Claude draws on that information across every conversation within that project. Skills are procedural machines. They encode how Claude should execute a task, the specific steps, order of operations, and the methodology we want followed every time. Skills shine when we have repeatable workflows we want Claude to run consistently. The two features complement each other. The skill can reference knowledge stored in a project. Our customer call prep skills might pull from customer profile uploaded to a project's knowledge base. The project provides the what information. The skill provides the how of the process. And so for projects, the purpose is to store knowledge Claude references. And for skills, the purpose defines processes Claude executes. So projects are best used for long-term context, reference materials, and team collaboration. A good example would be a customer's hub, a research buddy, or a feedback generator. And the persistence, knowledge available across all chats in the project. And for skills, they're best used for repeatable workflows, multiple step tasks, and consistent methodology. A good example would be a process guidelines like brand or legal, a blog drafting, and PDF creation. And the persistence, instructions applied when the skill is invoked. All right, so the lesson reflection. Before moving on, consider this. What type of document do you create regularly that could benefit from Claude's built-in skills? Are there repetitive workflows in your work that might be good candidates for custom skills? And how might skills change? How might skills change the way you think about document creation and data analysis? All right. So what's next? In the next set of lessons, we'll start to expand Claude's reach with connectors. These powerful tools make information gathering seamless and can give Claude the ability to perform actions right inside the tools where our work is happening. For more information on skills, including how to create our own custom skills, visit the Anthropic Help Center. Okay. Wow. So we have 3 more modules, and next week we'll start the expanding Claude's reach module. All right, so we're finally at the end. We'll stop here and we'll pick up next Saturday. But I do appreciate everybody that joined me in this walkthrough. We'll definitely come back next week and we'll definitely continue this Anthropic Academy walkthrough. And with that said, peace out, everybody.